One thing that they brought up as well was a post from you in 2021 where you said Americans should cancel Thanksgiving, should have done this in 1621. The post has been deleted. Republicans have been highlighting it. Do you still believe that Thanksgiving should be canceled?
I'm a chef, and one of the first meals that I made that was for the community.
I didn't have it ready.
She had this answer prepared.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Do you think we should cancel this? She didn't have to think about it at all. Just as soon as she got it in her ear, I'm a chef.
I'm a chef.
What an answer. The way she started, I'm a chef.
All right, here we go.
When I was 16 was a Thanksgiving meal. I always think my hospitality background in owning a restaurant for 7-8 years, that bringing folks around the table to share conversation and build community is always a good thing. But Thanksgiving,
I just love the fact that she's trying to retool this conversation around Thanksgiving to the fact that she is a chef, and that's why she thinks about Thanksgiving so much, because one of the first meals she ever had to cook when she was 16 was Thanksgiving. And so then you can turn it into hospitality and like serving people and
community, sitting around the table,
all kinds of good stuff.
By the way, I mean, first meal to cook Thanksgiving. That's rough. That's a lot of trust though.
That's like coming in as a server on Mother's Day for your first day. Yeah, that's rough.
Lord.
Here's a little more.
Is also a time that's incredibly painful for many people in our communities. And so I think I wanted to make sure that people understood that there are multiple views, but views can evolve. And the position that I'm running for right now, and I think my background as a chef will actually...
I just want to know how it's painful for many people in her community. I seriously want to know. It's currently Year of Our Lord 2026, okay? Are there a lot of people in your... First off, do you live on a reservation? It sure doesn't seem like it. But how is it painful to a lot of people in your community in Year of Our Lord 2026? Something that goes back to, in America, kind of 1621. Actually, people have been celebrating, like having harvest Thanksgivings for basically ever. For basically ever is how long this has been going on.
They used to call them feasts.
And so I just want to know who sits around that hundreds of years later feeling like pain about something that happened 300 years ago. I don't understand how you go through life like that. It's got to be awful, or she's making it up because no one cares.
Yeah.
Is the actual answer.
I mean, there could be people that have decided that, this is something that reminds them of an awful thing. And so therefore they're going to sulk in a corner.
It reminds you of an awful... Do you know how many awful things... Listen, I'm not saying it's not awful or it's not all, your people... We've said this many times. I've not traced back the lineage of like my family tree to see the terrible things that have happened to people. I'm part Japanese, so I'm like, oh God. Anytime I hear the word nuclear, just brings back all these awful memories.
Do you feel bad for Pearl Harbor?
Do I feel guilt?
Yeah.
No. It's right now. Okay.
Your great-great-grandfather could have been flying one of those planes right into a ship,
And so she got in some hot water over this, is the moral of this current story.
I'm with you, though. It's dumb.
And the whole thing with Thanksgiving, too, like it didn't even turn into this celebrating whatever pilgrims and the Wamapo or whoever until like maybe FDR, until like the 1900s, basically. That's not even what it was beforehand. And first off, that dinner, it's not like the pilgrims, they called up the Wamapo or they sent them an invite on Facebook and they're like, hey, we're going to have this big dinner. It's going to be a big feast. And just thank you for welcoming us to your homeland. And we're going to be best friends forever. The Native Americans, the Indians, whatever you want to call them, weren't even invited to the dinner. They came because they heard gunshots. And because the people were hunting for their big dinner and they showed up with a big party of people and they're like, hey, you want to eat? It's cool.
Look, we got this table, this big long table.
It wasn't like this big organized, let's screw over these people feast. Let's get on their good side and then screw them over.
Didn't have to RSVP.
50 years later, because by the way, they were friends for like 50 years before stuff went poorly.
You didn't have to text the group coordinator.
Not even what it was.
To tell how many kids you're bringing.
No, that's not what it was at all. And then George Washington proclaimed a day of Thanksgiving also in November, a Thursday in November, which was celebrating like independence in America. You know, that's basically what it was. Constitutional government.
For being free from tyranny.
Those kinds of things. Lincoln had one same thing in November, a day of repentance and prayer for national unity. Because there's a civil war going on.
Prayer,
yeah,
from the office of the president.
Like the thing that we like learn in school or whatever, like whatever it is that you do is that's like a new thing, and that's not even what it was. Just so you know. So whatever pain that you feel, first off, is just fake. That's my point. That I'm saying right now. So she got in some hot water over this, and she had some new things to say about Thanksgiving, which actually is my favorite holiday. So, because it's Christmas without the gifts, and so you don't have to worry about like doing all the presents and stuff like that, which can be stressful sometimes. But you get to get together with family and have like good food and all that. And so it just...
And the Cowboys always play.
And the Cowboys are playing. Sometimes they ruin it. Sometimes it's fine. Here's her backtracking a little bit.
My favorite holiday is Thanksgiving. Because I love
have it.
Yep. I don't want to cancel it. I actually love it. We bring, actually, it's kind of in-laws and family members and their in-laws, and it's a big event. And, you know, I'm gonna be real. I'm kind of a curmudgeon when it comes to holidays in general.
That whole thing earlier when I said,
wait, now she's curmudgeon about
canceled. Yeah, no. What she's saying is, you know, I'm a curmudgeon. Like I just have this natural reaction to holidays. You ask me about any holiday, I'll say it should have been canceled in 1621. You know, because I just hate holidays.
But
so
actually,
much.
I love celebrating.
But if you were forced me to pick my favorite holiday, it's obviously Thanksgiving.
The one
America's
that celebrates the massacres of indigenous people.
So, but right now,
Also,
what we want to get...
The way she answered that, I would have to... Is anybody taking this person seriously? Like, is she in like the actual running for this job?
She's a Democratic Socialist candidate, I believe.
I mean, like, is she polling well?
I don't think she's not polling to win. I don't think she's polling close to win, but I can't tell you that. I don't know.
Somebody said she's in the lead. Right
is she in the lead? Okay, sorry,
What?
I must have read something. Yeah, maybe she is.
Oh my!
Well, because everyone heard that Thanksgiving's her favorite holiday.
Now they love her.
You know, that's what it is. Okay, so that's number one. Holy crap! How many minutes into this thing are we? It's 11:35.
Honestly, you could just have done a mashup video and played it for number one, and that would have been all we needed.
That could have been fine. Okay, next thing. I know that we talked about the grocery stores. We've talked about them plenty. But I do have an important point to make for Dumb Bleep number 2. You guys know about the Mamdani grocery stores, the 5 government grocery stores, which are going to cost them an unknown amount of money. We know it's going to be $70 million, like for building and stuff like that.
Our 5 city-run grocery stores will set prices for this core set of goods at 30% below typical retail prices. No exceptions, no gimmicks. The savings will last for the entire month.
All right. So we know that. We know that's what's going on. And then we also got the other dumb, which we talked about on Monday this week, which was, now people are saying it's not true, but they are going to have to, what this lady got up there and said was that they were going to have like a library card-esque type thing. Now you would presumably have to present something to get the library card. No, they're not going to check your ID. But she did say you're going to have some kind of a card that will be issued to you as a resident of New York.
Is your picture on it?
And I don't know. I mean, this whole, God, it's going to be a disaster, and I'm so excited about it. I'm so excited about this whole thing. Okay, I don't want you guys to misunderstand me here. I'm pumped to watch this happen because it's going to crash and burn terribly. But my important point to make on this is that how is this not, like, if there were ever a case for something to be like an antitrust, what?
Came across something that is so hysterical. Okay, so good news. Your library card does not have your picture on it.
That's good.
Okay. Standard library cards from major NYC systems do not require to have your picture on them. They display a barcode, your name, and your card number. Though you must show a separate photo ID to apply in person to get your library card.
Yeah, but when you go to the store, they're not going to check your ID. They're just going to check the piece of paper that you had to get, that you had to use your ID to get in the first place.
You have to show your ID to get a library card to then use at the grocery store. You can't make this up.
Okay. So back on this. This, I think you'll agree with me, is a great point. If there ever were a case for antitrust violation, what they're doing in New York is a case for it. The government loves going after people for like unfair competition, unfair practices, whatever it is, monopoly practices. They love it when it is private business that they say is doing it. Now, I disagree with every one of them, unless, in fact, that corporation was just being helped by the government the whole time. That's like the only way they can form a national monopoly. But that's not what, guess what? That's not what the government's going to go after. But in this case, just imagine they're going to be competing against other stores. Those other stores will be forced to pay taxes into a pool of money that will be used to reduce the prices at competing stores. It's like no choice. Same thing for people and all that, and they got no choice in the matter other than just lose money. But they don't have an endless pool of money like New York does, seemingly endless. New York can just keep taking more and more money from their taxpayers until the entire system crumbles. And so I don't understand why this is not going to just be like a blatant antitrust thing, except for the fact that that's not who they're going to. It's like they're not going to go after the government for doing this. And there's a couple interesting reasons why. So like if you have predatory pricing, you could have a big company, deep pockets, selling below cost. The competitors obviously can't match because they got to have profit to survive. They can't just take those losses. Maybe some can, but most of them can't. Then those competitors are going to close. They're going to leave, whatever. And then that predatory pricer, which in this case with the government, they win. And then they raise prices. Now, they're not going to do that. They're a benevolent government. So they would not want to do that at all. But in this case, their deep pocket is the taxpayer. So it's not like some big rich fat cat over here with a monocle and a top hat or anything that's just got a whole bunch of money that he stole. It's the actual government that literally stole the money under threat of imprisonment. Okay. But the competition that their competition, they got to pay their rent, their property taxes. They got to pay to construct their buildings that have actual losses that they have to contend with.
No subsidy.
The government store has those costs reimbursed with taxes collected from the businesses that are competing against it through force. Just so you know. Okay. So I want to make sure I get all this right. So when you look at predatory pricing, its prices are below seller's actual costs. And the seller, this is what they're always worried about. They're going to corner the market, right? They're going to price way too low, below their actual cost, destroy their competition. Once the competition's gone, they're going to come in, raise prices to recoup their losses that they were taking in order to destroy their competition. What's super interesting in this case is that there's no proof that they're going to do that. The government is going to do that in this case because they don't have to recoup their losses, because their losses are actually the taxpayers' losses, and they're just going to keep taking money from the taxpayers the whole time. So since they don't have to like raise prices to recoup the money and profit and make all that back, since they're a government that's just going to keep operating at a loss because that's what governments do,
they get around.
Then they get around like what traditional like predatory pricing laws would be. Not to mention the fact that there are carve-outs, like the federal government is not going to go after governments for doing this, or you would like shut down their entire system, because any market they get involved in, they're obviously creating unfair competition like at all times. is what they're doing. So,
but we've seen this play out, and it's kind of interesting. Like in the insurance world, there's been nonprofit or below cost insurance companies that were created out of the Affordable Care Act, and they all went bankrupt. They couldn't. They tried to compete unfairly and still couldn't. Yeah, couldn't do it. So I'd be interested. I'm interested to see how this plays out. I'm really happy we're running this experiment.
Oh, it's great.
It's perfect.
I love it.
I mean, you said for a long time. I'm sick of talking
about stuff from 100 years ago. Like, this is awesome.
Look, you said for a long time we have 50 separate states, like 50 separate countries. Let's try stuff.
Over there.
Try stuff in different places. California can do Medicare for all in their state. New York can do government-run grocery stores. That's a great idea. And we'll see how these ideas play out. I'm happy we're trying stuff.
Yeah, sure.
I want to see the results.
I'm pumped.
Stop talking about theories.
Have you seen the $20 burrito controversy that's going around online?
No.
Okay. Big. It's got the right.
Maybe some of it, but
the right wing in an uproar right now.
Oh,
I'm not going to go into the whole thing. Not going to read this whole stuff. Matt Walsh. This is number 3, and it's going to end with Dan Crenshaw showing you once again why he's not going to be in office come next January. Okay, which is awesome. Like, I forgot about that. It's going to be great.
Are they requiring you have 2 eyes?
You got to have 2 eyes. It's one of the new regulations that went into effect. Yeah. When the new law was passed, and he didn't see it coming.
Doesn't matter about age, you know.
Nope.
You can be in the hospital for the rest of your term.
Eyesight
full. Like Mitch McConnell.
Yeah.
You gotta have to have 2 eyes.
You gotta have 2 eyes. Okay. What are you gonna do? Hey, that's as good a rule as any. I'm just happy they're trying stuff. Okay. Okay. Matt Walsh has said grocery prices are insane. Walsh is doing good on like affordability right now. He saw my post from last week where I said we got to start leading on affordability because the socialists are going to take this and run with it. All right. They will seize this. They love seizing things, and they will seize the means of the affordability argument and take it as their own and offer you more of the problem as their solution. Okay, so he said grocery prices are insane. They're still rising. Addressing this problem should be the number one priority of every elected leader in the stupid foreign wars and focus on this issue. It's one of the main reasons socialists are gaining power. Andrew Colvett said, one of our TPUSA college students gave me his take on affordability. Quote, a burrito shouldn't cost $20. He says, yeah, a lot of this is hangover from COVID and Biden era inflation, but the lived experience is the same. It just feels like basic things cost too much. Now, this unfortunately turned into a conversation about there's no way a burrito costs $20. And that
was the main.
See, that is, was that the point? Really? That's the problem when you go.
Let's focus in on this burrito.
Yeah. Like when you go, I don't know, when you start exaggerating a lot, you give people a way to get out of the main substance of the argument because they can pick apart this thing that you said.
Well, people are emotionally tied to burritos and tacos.
Very, very tied to those things.
Yeah.
No, listen, your normal everyday burrito, not going to cost you $20. Now, maybe if you order something from Chipotle on DoorDash or something. I don't even know. I haven't been there in a long time.
Not even at Chipotle. Like after you go to the store.
No, you order it on DoorDash and you leave a tip and you get it and you got the guacamole.
Yeah.
2 at the same time.
$32.95.
You're paying $20 at least for your burrito. Guys, I get it. You can go and get your supplies for the burrito and actually have some pretty cheap burritos. You go to Walmart, get you a big old log of beef, okay? It's a big old pack of tortillas or whatever. Don't go to the Publix when they got their buy one get ones. You can get you some cheap tortillas over there. Get you some beans to stretch your meat if you want to. If that's what you like doing, that's fine. I don't make burritos myself. Don't order them. Not a fan of the burrito, okay? That's not the point. Things are too expensive, and they're more expensive than they otherwise should be. Now, you got stuff back and forth, of course, people arguing about this burrito. We're still talking about the burrito, going back and forth with people. And of course, Matt Walsh makes the point that it's weird that you guys were very big on the affordability crisis when Biden was in office. And now all of a sudden
In
you're
fact,
not.
you could argue that's what won Trump the presidency.
Yes. And now all of a sudden
Because
you're
people
not.
because people were not too dumb. They're dumb, but not too dumb to realize that Bidenomics wasn't actually working.
No,
We talked about this on the show a lot, that they were trying to, obviously the left was trying to gaslight you about how the economy is so great under Biden, and people understood through their wallets and their receipts at the grocery store that it wasn't working.
And you feel it no matter what. You got a politician that's going to come in and say, I'm going to things are going to get cheaper under me. Like, well, hell, I don't care about all the other stuff. If everything gets cheaper for me, like that's going to make my life way better. And that's a really good argument that's going to work for a lot of people. Now, unfortunately, things have continued to get more expensive because that's how inflation works. Even if inflation slows down to 3.5%, that's still inflation. It's still increasing. All right. Food prices are 2 and something over the last year. I don't remember exactly, but things are still more expensive than they otherwise should be. You got your tariffs, your regulations, you got, it's just, there are things that they could do that would equal less price inflation, or maybe even prices going down for some people. It's scary. So don't do that. This guy, Joel Berry, comes back and says, the reason we talked about rising prices under Biden was that he gave us record inflation. Trump has all but killed that inflation. He's correct. It's all but killed. He hasn't killed it. It's the all but. Like, it's still there. It still exists. There's still inflation. Wages are up too. Huge win. And he says, prices always rise. The goal is to make them rise as slowly as possible and make wages increase. Unless you want a recession, since the price is going down. Being bad argument.
Just like TVs, we want the price of TVs to keep going up.
Yeah.
There's no reason. Yeah.
You just want your wages to increase faster than the price of a TV. That's the golden age.
Exactly.
Right there.
When everyone makes $1 million as a base salary,
Yeah.
Your groceries are, what would that be? Your groceries would be, I don't know, $5,000 at checkout. But
Yeah.
it's fine. It's fine that your groceries cost $5,000 because everyone's making $1 million.
Yeah. But okay, we got all that, whatever. There's a controversy. Let's get past all the beans and get to the meat of the argument. Okay. Dan
Can we
Crenshaw.
throw a little lettuce on this too?
Not right now.
Okay.
No, that's a no-no right now.
The infected lettuce?
Yep. You can't have any of that infected lettuce. God, Lacey hates it so much. I'm like, come, just do it. Statistically, what are you worried about? Just go get it from someone who's not getting it from Mexico or wherever it's coming from. I don't know.
Just don't get lettuce.
She's a vegetarian.
Though, who eats iceberg lettuce? No one should eat it.
Listen, there's like 2 heads of iceberg lettuce in my fridge at all times.
No. If you're going to eat lettuce, just make it romaine. At least you get a few nutrients from it.
She wants the iceberg.
No. No. It's pointless.
Pointless.
Just put air on your plate.
It takes up space. Makes you feel full for 30 minutes. Dan Crenshaw from Texas, you've heard of him before, says, just hearing about this dumb $20 burrito debate, so just thought I'd make the losers on social media angry before going to bed. Stop whining, get a job, eat ramen like the rest of us did in college on a budget with 4 roommates.
It would have been way funnier if you would have said, just seen this dumb
that would have
$20
been funny.
burrito debate.
Yeah. He didn't. He said just hearing.
Yeah.
So eat ramen like everyone else did on a budget with 4 roommates. The market doesn't care what you think something should cost. Only communists care. They set prices, remember? Then everyone starves, remember? Are you a communist or are you an American adult male capable of handling his own shit? That's what he said. I love how he goes into making this free market argument as if we've got like just beautiful, flourishing free markets here in the U.S. Like, dude, you're part of the government. So first off, don't preach to me about, what are you, a communist for being upset about prices? This is what the market and the invisible hand have dictated. No, dude. There's probably 200 regulations affecting the price of your gall-darn burrito. At least.
Especially on the meat.
Way more than that. Way more than that. Affecting the price of your burrito. So acting like, you're upset that it costs a lot. What do you want to set prices, you communist? Just shut up while we make everything more expensive with all of our regulations and laws.
And
you
spending.
Idiot. What are you, a commie? You want things to get cheaper? no, that is a terrible
Now, can
argument.
I say that there is part of his argument that I kind of agree with?
Oh, there's a flip side.
Which is the stop whining
Yeah.
part. Don't yes, we should advocate for policy that's going to stop inflation and lower prices, which at the core principle makes it better for everyone. But at the same time, I will say practically to people that the market is the market. And, you should be figuring out ways in which you can still survive regardless of what happens. So
just make the best decisions that you can.
But that doesn't mean that you shouldn't be advocating for policies, economic policies that are actually better for you and your family and the rest of society as a whole.
Absolutely. But sure, still don't make like any poor financial decisions. Now, if you're being thrifty as possible, which we shouldn't have to be, this is of the golden era of America or whatever golden. It's gold. I know it's gold, but unfortunately it's been spray painted some kind of tacky gold and it's not real, is the situation that we're in right now. You shouldn't be talking about thrifting and buying a 10-pound log of beef or something like that, some 70-30 10-pound log of beef, and making your burrito that's 90% refried beans or whatever. Doesn't feel like that's the situation you should be in when we're in the greatest economy ever in the history of the world, But some people are in that situation, and there's a lot of people that order DoorDash and all that shouldn't be. You're increasing your prices by what? 25% at least when you're ordering
bare minimum
all of your food. You're increasing your costs.
It's like 100% markup.
And so we do have a situation where a lot of people are doing that, and they shouldn't be, but they can. That's their decision. The other problem is, of course, when Joe Biden was president, Dan Crenshaw got upset because the Biden administration was up there talking about how, they said the Biden administration's Brian Deese on skyrocketing grocery prices. If you take out beef, pork, and poultry, the price increases are more in line with the historical norms. And so they were out there saying, actually, things aren't as bad as they look. Just make good decisions.
If you take out the main ingredients,
yeah,
everything's fine.
And so Dan Crenshaw responded back when Biden was in office and said, America, our food prices are too high. What are you doing about inflation? Biden administration, just be a vegan and stop complaining, you bunch of rubes. So he was upset that the Biden administration was telling people to stop whining. Anyhow, let's move on to number 4.
Only got 6 left.
Yikes. We can do this one real quick. People are going to try and fix the high food prices. And how do you fix high food prices?
Price control.
At the very, very end point, the last possible point of pricing, that's where Mamdani wants to fix it. And that's where this person in New York wants to fix it. New York Democrats introduced a bill requiring 10% discounts on all items at self-checkout. You go through self-checkout, those things didn't cost any money. They're saving money on not having a person standing there checking you out every time you go by. And
you're saving money by not having to scan everything. And go through self-checkout.
Just a little bit of loss that happens, that kind of thing happens at self-checkouts. But those self-checkouts have actually found a way to, compared to what they otherwise would be, actually keep prices lower compared to what they otherwise would be, because people found a way to automate and make things more efficient. And yes, labor is a massive cost. And so it's less cost in the grocery store, which is already hardly making any profit whatsoever. Like hardly making any net profit at all on the goods. And then they want to say self-checkout, a way that you guys have found to reduce your costs. We're going to make you charge people less at those. I don't see any possible way this would actually go through. Okay. Yeah, sure.
Come on, Nate.
Maybe you could actually.
Yeah.
Maybe it could actually go through. That's a weird penalty to put on people who are shopping, say, for a family and going through a regular checkout. Like, I got 150 items and I'm going to go through here. I have to. Obviously, everyone would be lined up at the self-checkout trying to get that 10% discount. It's really funny because what this would equal is they're just going to raise prices overall, because they have to give everyone a 10% off coupon as they're going out the store. So they're just going to raise their prices up
by 10%,
by whatever that amount is, 10%, and then give everyone 10% off when they go through the checkout. Like
and save on the labor costs still.
Yeah, it's still save. They just don't. They don't get it. They don't get, and that's not where the problem's happening when it comes to food costs. There's maybe a little bit, but your big grocers are getting a few percent tops. That's what they're coming out with. Okay, that's not what the issue is.
If I was an investor, I wouldn't be investing in grocery stores in New York right now. That's not a place.
No, that is really bad investment. Charlie, do you like fire trucks?
I don't have any problems with them.
You're not against them.
I'm not against fire trucks. No,
you like seeing a big representation of government rolling down the road that you got to get out of the way for.
There's some utility in fire trucks. When there's fires,
they have utility.
Yeah, there's use cases for them.
They have a purpose. Mm-hmm. There are use cases. Listen,
I mean, most of the time I see them sitting idle and
not doing a lot.
The station. They're there at the station
most of the time, which is where you want them.
Yeah.
Elizabeth Warren has a thing about fire trucks right now. She's got a video out, and I don't know who my least favorite person in the Senate or in Congress overall is. She's right. She's got to be top 3, at least. I mean,
because she's indigenous.
Yeah,
and you love Thanksgiving.
Yeah, that's what it is.
Full circle. All comes back to Dumb Bleep number 1.
Yeah. No, she's the HOA lady who just sits there looking out her window, looking to control what everyone is doing all the time. Like that's what she is.
Great picture.
That's when she's just sitting in her window watching to make sure that people are pulling their trash cans back from the curb or aren't.
She walks her dog around the whole neighborhood just to check on.
Just to make sure that other dogs aren't pooping in people's yards or whatever. Make sure people are using
She's the one that
bags.
takes a picture and sends to my house about the ivy growing up my side of the house, which I didn't realize.
That kind of thing
was happening.
That's who Elizabeth Warren is. She can't stand the idea that she's not in control of something, especially when it comes to the economy. And she especially hates these private equity people, where she's got this video out about fire trucks getting very expensive since the year 2017. Let's see what her argument is real quick.
So 9 years ago, a fire department in Massachusetts paid just under $1 million for a fire truck. Today, that very same fire truck costs $2.5 million, and it takes 4 years to arrive. 4 years and more than double the price. Okay, that's a terrible deal, but local communities can't walk away from it. Firefighters need fire trucks to keep people safe.
Okay, yeah, we know all that. We're not going to do a whole 9 minutes on why fire trucks are important from Elizabeth Warren. But what she says is, why does a new fire truck cost $2.5 million? And her source of the problem for a fire truck going from $1 million to $2.5 million since 2017, private equity. That's what it is. They've bought up some companies, they've made this investment, and they want to recoup their money. And that's the entire problem. That is why it's gone up 150% since this time. Now, if you do a little bit of math on this is a problem. This is a problem for Elizabeth Warren. Okay? If you do just a little bit of math on this, you'll see that this is not the case at all. 1 million to 2.5 million, that's 150% increase. That's interesting. Sorry. Yeah. Charlie's looking at his front door right now, just a rando standing there.
Yeah, it's weird.
Just looking.
Yep.
I guess as long as he doesn't break in, like that's fine.
No, I think he went back to his car now, which is
okay.
Nice.
Was he trying to sell you something?
Maybe.
What if it's good?
Strange outfit.
It looks like maybe he's coming to take the ivy off the side of your house.
Oh, I already
Have you looked at that?
I got that.
Yeah. All right. We're going to Jehovah's Witness. Is that what it is? Potentially?
Tell us about Jesus.
That would be like two kids on bikes or something like that. I don't know what the general movie.
Usually wider. Usually wider.
Yeah. Oh, I see why you're worried about that guy.
Exactly.
I got you. There's the problem. Okay. So if you missed the conversation, Charlie, fire trucks, allegedly, this one specific fire truck have gone from 1 million to 2.5 million since 2017. Elizabeth Warren says that is because of private equity, greed. We just have greed.
Yep.
Okay. That is the main source of the problem. Now, the issue here is if you look at all the things that go into a fire truck, this is not the case. She can't do this, though. She can't do it because she sees that a private company owns something and that someone is trying to make a profit off of something and the price has gone up and there must be someone that she can blame that's not herself or not her friends in the government. But unfortunately, if you look at some of the numbers, like CPI, over that time, you got 36%. Now, that's not great for a fire truck. So you want to look at firefighting or military vehicles, producer price inflation, which is 42%, or vehicle body manufacturing producer price inflation, which is 57%. Now we're trying to look for a 150% increase over this time. That's what happened with this alleged price. Okay. Manufacturing hourly, that's almost 40% gone up since that time. Iron and steel, some components here in this fire truck. Okay. 71%. Aluminum, 100%. Trucks, and they got tires on it. You ever seen those tires? They're pretty big tires.
Big tires,
31% on that. There's tariffs on all these things. Okay? Steel tariffs, 25%. Aluminum tariffs on top of these things. You got EPA emission standards that go into effect for model year 2027 vehicles, which are estimated to add 10 to 15%. And many other standards that have gone into effect on these vehicles that I didn't even type out here in the notes. And then there's another part of this. She said that there's a 4-year wait to get one of these $2.5 million fire trucks. So you order one, it's going to be $2.5 million. Okay, so you're not actually calculating all those numbers from 2017 to 2026. You're going to calculate 2017 to 2030. That's what this company who's making the fire trucks also has to know. What's the inflation going to be over the next 4 years? What's going to happen to labor costs? What's going to happen with tariffs? What's going to happen with all the raw materials that go in? What's going to happen with new standards, emission standards over that time? Any other kind of regulations that we have from the government over this time? What's going to happen in the next 4 years? And so you're actually talking about something closer to a $2 million fire truck that they're charging what they think prices could increase over the next 4 years or so. This is a show.
On this
and that's
show.
a so.
Yeah.
Yeah, on this show. There we go. There's a lot that can change. A lot that can change in 4 years. Then there's like a bigger problem. It's a very low volume product. It's not rolling off. It's not like, oh, we produced 100,000 fire trucks this year. Rolling off the assembly line.
They're made to order. This is a made to order product.
The very complicated vehicles too. Okay. It's not just like an F-250 or anything. This is very complicated. This is a factory. It's a water factory on wheels. Okay.
By the way, this is one of the most expensive types of fire trucks. There's other.
Yeah, she did put.
There's other types of fire trucks you can get.
So this is one of, it wasn't like one of the big ladder trucks, that can go up on a skyscraper or anything. Those are probably very expensive. But yeah, this here fire engine looks like it's going to be pretty expensive as well. It's a very low volume product. The higher the volume you do, more you can get you can deal with the smaller margins, stuff like that. You can get the prices down on stuff. It's a very low volume product. And biggest problem, who's buying it?
Government.
The government. The government is the purchaser of this product. Okay. Now I know most of these cases, a lot of cases, it's going to be local governments, but it's not just them. Okay. It's not just them. The federal government, on top of the fact that they regulate these things like crazy, okay, they're going to increase the cost of the materials, the manufacturing, they're going to devalue the currency, and then they're also going to give grants to cities to go buy these things as well on the back end. So they're still sending out federal money to do this at the same time. The government is the purchaser of the product, and in any market where you have the government as the purchaser of a product, there's not much incentive for it to go down in price. Most of the time, there's just incentives for it to go up in price. And then you add in the fact that the government is doing tons of things to make them more expensive. What do you land at? The problem? Private equity. You follow the whole line down all the way there. Okay, we made it.
Yeah, I've been looking at getting a new fire truck.
Uh-huh.
And yeah, it's just I need the price to come down.
You gotta save up. You gotta save up for that.
Yeah.
You know? But you get like that financed out. It's not too bad. Look at the 30-year financing on that thing. It's not a bad price. Okay, we got our commie block here. We're going to go through a few things. This one, there's a lot of pro-China stuff on X. I don't know if it's on all the platforms. It's potentially because I click on it and interact with it. And so I see a lot of pro-China stuff. We'll talk about how algorithms work in the next one probably. But
it's everywhere.
There's a lot of pro-China stuff out there.
It's on TikTok.
You know?
It's everywhere. It's the communists. They're living the dream, Nate. Didn't you know this?
Out there in China?
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Them Chi-Com's got it going on. Okay.
I've seen this one guy taking vacations in China, and he's just loving it. You
Real
can
nice
get a
place.
Presidential suite for like $27 a night.
Very nice place.
Yeah.
Yeah. I love it.
And in the U.S., you got to pay like $1,500 a night for something like that.
Okay, so this page says Communist China. Now, if you're listening, just so you know, this is it's a video. On the left, it's got something in China. On the right, it's got something in America. Now, this is just your average picture of what both places look like, I'm sure. But on the video, they pick like the nicest, most modern, high-tech part of some city in China. Right next to basically like a homeless encampment, you know, next to a bridge in San Francisco,
probably.
Some commie-ran city here in America. Okay. So that's what you're looking at. And they say communist China has lifted 800 million people out of extreme poverty, while capitalist USA continues to decline due to decades of funding wars and corporate welfare to enrich its billionaire class. These posts have really been getting on my nerves lately. This lifted 800 million people out of extreme poverty line. And you see it all the time. It's all over the place. Just search that on X. You're going to see it all over the place on X, okay? It's as annoying and like it's gaslighting to the tune of like, imagine you had two countries. One of them just put almost their entire population in prison because they hate them and they just want to control everything they do. And the other one
killed 50 million of them.
Yeah, the other one just say puts bad people in prison, you know,
for the most part.
Okay, this is not a direct comparison to the two countries. We're just making an analogy right now. Okay, the other one just puts bad people in prison. And so over time, those bad people, they get out, whatever. A few of them get out every now and then. The other one, they find out there's no way they can handle keeping all these people in prison. And they write a thing on here. It says, we are going to release like most of these people from prison. They can leave. That's fine. And then people post online and they say, well, this country has freed this many people from prison while the other one still has, you know, only this many people getting freed from prison every single year. You know, well, you guys locked everyone up in a cage called communism for a long time. The obvious point we're trying to make here is, why was everyone so poor in China?
For so long.
For so long. Now, China, it's not like China was this rich, prosperous, perfect country and then Mao comes in and it goes terrible. It's like, yeah, still poor, farming country, you know, relatively.
Like everyone was.
Like, you know, like the world basically was at this time. Why were they so poor? And how did they get out of it? They did not get out of it because they were like, let's do communism. They got out of it because the communism thing's not working. Let's back off from it and do more market incentives for people. Let's allow private ownership. Let's allow farmers. Sure, they have to hit our quota. Anything over that, they can keep it, they can sell it, they can do whatever, you know?
In the 80s, they created things called economic free zones.
They did.
Which allowed them to actually participate in a sort of freestyle market or a free market style economics, which increased productivity. It was almost immeasurable how much it went up.
It's still not a free markets. We know it's not a free market society, but they introduced market incentives into their communist, collectivist, like controlled, centrally planned economy. And that is how this happened. Not because they went to communism. Okay. And in fact, the thing, when they talk about lifting 800 million people out of extreme poverty, well, guess what? We don't even measure, like, you know how many people are in extreme poverty in the United States?
No one, basically.
Basically no one. Okay.
I think extreme poverty is still defined. Is it less than $2 a day now?
Well, it was $1.90 for a long time. It went up to like $2.30. It might be close to $3 now. I can't remember what exactly it is at the moment. But we do it on a little bit higher level, or the World Bank does it for like richer countries on a little higher level, $8.30. And it's got purchasing power parity, all this kind of stuff baked into the number. It's not perfect, but it's a way of looking. And so the $8.30 a day number for the U.S. is still 2%, less than that. For China, right now, perfect communist China that has done all of these great things and lifted all these people out of poverty, 21% still lives on less than $8.30 a day.
Of a much larger country.
Yes.
Population-wise.
So a lot of people.
Yeah.
Wait, they probably have more people in $8.30 a day than we have in the United States. No, it wouldn't be that much, but it'd be close. I don't remember what their population is right now. It's close. It's really close. Okay, I'm going to skip over a couple of these so we can get to some other fun ones. That's our commie block. So once again, everyone is realizing that affordability is a problem right now. And sure, make better decisions or whatever, but things are costing more than they otherwise should have. Is it?
The population of China, 1.4 billion, roughly 21% of that is almost 300 million people.
Okay, so it is close.
The people still living in China on extreme poverty is close to almost the entire population of the United States.
But they're doing such a great job.
They're doing great.
Yeah, communism has worked finally. And I guess in that conversation, we're supposed to say as well, in case you didn't know, China's not a communist, like classical communist country. They say they're going towards, like that's their base that they want to move toward, but it really just looks like a fascist country. Like you're allowed to own the private property and you can make profits off of stuff, but it's state direct. Like they've got ultimate say. It's a one-party state, authoritarian government. They can do anything they want, but they do allow people to have like private ownership of property and invest in all that kind of stuff. So it's not a stateless, classless, moneyless society.
Utopia.
Like that's so it doesn't fit communism very well. In the same way that the United States doesn't fit like capitalism very well. What people mean by capitalism is that people make money off of things. So by that, if that's your metric, then China is a capitalist country. But it's not a laissez-faire free market economy. It's a mixed economy. The government there's regulations on everything. We have a central bank. They take your money without your permission. They put money towards different sectors, different industries, different people that, you're friends with and you play golf with and stuff like that. It's a mixed economy. And so, yeah, not great comparisons really at all. Let's get to, let's just do number 7. This would be more fun. Here we go. I think I called this Only Abdul because he says Michigan Senate candidate Abdul El Sayed, who won the Michigan Senate primary, it's one of these Democratic Socialist guys, says every third video on his Instagram timeline is an OnlyFans model and blames the algorithm. Let's get to
algorithm's fault.
Let's get to his.
My team has access to my Instagram account. And like the things that I actually look at on Instagram, right? Of course, we get served that on your For You page. But then like every third video that scrolls on its own is going to be some OnlyFans model. And it's because it clocked me as being a 40-some-year-old man. Like you think about if you're on.
Now, perhaps it's true that they tested you with a couple models to see if you were interested.
True.
Okay.
Yes.
That, sure. If they said you're a 40-something-year-old dude, maybe there's a picture of you working out or something, they're like, hey, I bet you he'll like these. If you know what I mean. So in algorithms, social media companies' entire goal is to get you to open the app and then never turn it off ever again for the rest of your life. Like that's their perfect scenario.
Stay on there as long as possible.
If you were like, what's their best case? You open Facebook and you stare at it and scroll and click on ads until the day you die, which is hopefully a long time from now.
For 100 years.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, but people have to sleep, stuff like that. So what are they going to do? They are going to show you things that you interact with.
That you're most interested in.
You are interested in. How do they determine that you are interested in something?
Your behavior.
Your behavior's on the app. Now, doesn't mean that you click like or commented like send POTs or whatever on the on the thing. So, inside like literally so 3 people are going to get that, but it's not like you commented that. Maybe you stopped and watched the entire video 3 times.
Maybe you clicked on their profile.
Could have clicked. Could have gone through some of their others, and then you went back and you went scrolling. You're like, oh, I never liked or comment or save any of those videos. It doesn't matter. It's your behavior on the app. That is literally what they do. They're not just going to force feed you stuff that you never interact with ever. Okay? They're not. Okay, sometimes they'll mess up. All right, but that is not their goal. And so the joke here, and if you scroll through the comments on his page, it's who's going to tell him? Who's going to tell him why every 3rd or 4th video on his timeline is some girl working out or whatever it is that she's doing, or like trying on whatever it is she's trying. I don't know. Yeah,
it's funny because it's funny because my algorithms on different platforms are different.
Yeah,
like Instagram, Brittany and I send each other a bunch of relationship stuff. So all it is like couples jokes, like the whole Instagram feed. Okay. TikTok, I watch a lot of chess and business stuff and everything. So most of my feed is all chess, business, some politics. X is all politics. Yeah. Like literally you scroll the whole thing. Every once in a while, some, celebrity news or something will pop up. But for the most part, it's literally just all politics because that's what all we do on X. Mm-hmm. So like different platforms like serve different purposes, which is hilarious. So that it's because that's what they think that you're most interested in. That's what the bots think you're most interested in.
And they think that based on your behaviors that they have watched you take on their app. That's why they think that. I was just saying like, man, there's so much China stuff, pro-China stuff on X. Well, I freaking comment on like almost every single one of them.
Yeah.
What do you think it would do? Like, oh, I better show him less of that. Yeah. No.
That's how we get so much.
Why would it do that?
That's how we get so much lefty stuff on X.
So, my number one task on X is bookmarking things in our dumb bookmark folder. And I'm like, oh my God, there's so much stupid commie BS on X. Like I've told it that that's what I want to see. And so that's what I see all the time.
Yeah, that's right. Costco from the Fed Haters Club. Join gmail.com.
Someday.
His For You page on X is entirely retarded leftist because I put so many dumbs in here.
Yeah.
That's true.
It is. Same.
It is true.
Same thing. All right. This one, speaking of, was submitted by someone in the Fed Haters Club. A few of the other ones have been. I remember this one being submitted. This guy's got an idea for how we can make voting more fair and make sure that we're representing portions of the population who are not getting accurately represented by votes right now. So here you go.
I've gotten in some hot water for proposing we consider overweighting the votes of younger people or assigning the youngest eligible voters proxy votes for the unrepresented children of our country. So those are edgy.
Why not assign them to those children's parents?
Well, because there's a divergence of interest between parents and children. And I think it's likelier that young people, not people who are raising families, will have the best insight into the interests of children. Whereas if you were awarded...
Okay. Let's stop on this for a second. he wants to assign to the youngest eligible voting population proxy votes for our unrepresented children in the votes. Okay. The guy has a very good question. Why not assign, if you're going to do that, why not assign that to those children's parents? Doesn't that make more sense? Like, you're a parent, you have a child, you get I'm not in support of this at all. You're a parent, you have a child, and you get an extra proxy vote for your child. That's what you get. And he said, well, no, because there's a divergence of interest between parents and children. It's young people who are 20 who know more what kids are interested in. And so they should get to vote for the government because they know what's best for kids.
Exactly.
Way better than their parents.
Yeah.
It's other random people. Some random person who just got out of high school
they can't vape or drink or
has got
like
your
that.
kids' interests in mind more so than you as a parent. And so they should get assigned the proxy vote for those kids. That's just what a wonderfully awful, just terrible idea. And I can't even get into this guy's warped mindset. It's just
when the teenager,
like the hatred of family and parents, the hatred of like the whole family structure is what's coming through right now.
When the teenager's at its most narcissistic.
Yes. And they hate their parents.
Meaning thinks about itself the most. Okay. That's every 18-year-old.
Okay. We're going to skip over to the last one now, which is the Flock Press, and play this video. It's actually from the Free Press. Speaking of the Flock Press, though, another thing I've been seeing, a lot of Flock stuff on our timeline, a whole lot of Flock stuff. Mm-hmm. And there, you can tell there's a lot of people out there trying to just do pro-Flock content right now. And a lot of them work for Flock, but like literally you look on their thing, it's like COO Flock.
Or a lot of them are invested in Flock.
Yeah.
Because it's making a lot of money.
So you'll see these things like, oh, this person robbed a gas station and they were caught with a Flock
3 states
camera.
Away.
You know? And so my response to this is basically always, these people act like crimes were just never solved. Like before this entire AI mass surveillance network, basically they never solved anything.
Crime was rampant.
Just didn't happen. Yeah. Just couldn't go anywhere. You got robbed. No one ever figured out who it was. Someone stole your car. Never found the car. It's gone forever. It's never been found ever in the history of people stealing cars. That's what they act like. Like it would have just never been solved. This person would have been on the FBI's most wanted gas station thief if it weren't for Flock, that kind of thing. But here's
so they're trying to shut down the TV show Cold Case.
Yeah, probably.
That's what they're trying to do.
Yeah.
No case is cold.
And I guess we're pro cold case. We just don't want stuff solved. The Free Press, that's your Barry Weiss. Like, you guys probably know who the Free Press is. But if you don't, it's like a lot of propaganda of a very specific flavor. They're very pro-Iran war, that kind of thing. Yeah. In this case, they're very pro-mass surveillance.
Most likely getting paid.
Oh, they got paid.
Yeah.
They got bought. Here we go.
Do you ever feel like you're watched? That's the panic behind a new fear sweeping across America. People are freaked out about surveillance from our employers, our nanny cams, and our phones watching our every move. And right now, this anxiety is being taken out with electric saws and cans of spray paint on tools used by law enforcement to keep us all safe. The target? Flock safety cameras. In upstate New York, someone cut down a Flock safety camera with an electric saw. In Oakland, California, another was covered in paint. And in Idaho, someone rammed one with their truck. And in good old Florida, a man just sits in his lawn chair with a cardboard held up for the lens. Since January, roughly 23 cities have canceled their contracts or shut off their Flock camera over Fourth Amendment concerns. There's even an open source intelligence website, DFlock, that's finding these cameras so people know exactly where to vandalize them. Here's what's actually under attack. In 2025 alone, this is
so people know where to vandalize them.
Yeah. Some people could use that. Just like when you search, I've seen specifically, there's this app on my phone called Waze. And if you search McDonald's on there, it shows you exactly where to vandalize them.
Exactly where to go to rob McDonald's.
System help locally 10,000 missing people, about 27 people a day, or about one every hour. Over 40% of agencies said Flock helped recover over half of the stolen vehicles in their jurisdiction. In Indiana, an infant abducted at a shopping center was found in under 2 hours. In Ohio, a missing girl was located in under 30 minutes. And this is the tool that people are treating like the enemy. It is fair to have concerns about how companies use and track our data, but that's not what these cameras are for. To be blunt, they're not interested in you, unless you're a kidnapper, a thief, or someone who intends to do harm.
Yeah.
If you have nothing to hide, nothing to fear. If you're not doing anything wrong, it's fine. It's fine. Why would you be worried if you're like a good person who's not breaking a law and just a polite member of society? Nothing to worry about at all.
Nope.
Except for, as we talked about earlier, I guess on Wednesday, that's not what these are for. Okay, well, currently right now, we do know about the misuse. There has been some misuse, for sure.
There's been arrests.
There have been arrests.
Because of the misuse.
People have been fired. Okay, that's the thing. But that's not even the main thing that people should be worried about. That's something that we don't like, but that's like pointing to a welfare program and saying the problem is fraud. Like, no, it's the whole program is the problem. And you point at the flock cameras and say the problem is stalking by police officers. No, that's like a symptom of the deeper problem, which is the camera system itself, and the fact that eventually, as our government grows more and more authoritarian and tyrannical, which is just always happening, it's literally like, just look at a line, just going towards that, okay, that eventually they're going to have this system and they're going to be able to track everyone who is not wearing a mask during COVID or whatever the next pandemic is.
Organizing a new political party.
Organizing protests. How are you going to form your militia? I think it's important that we form a militia, Charlie, but we're not going to be. They're going to be tracking us everywhere. I saw a post the other day. There's like literally a flock camera just erected outside of a gun store, just right there.
Yeah,
of course that's what they're going to do. They're going to track every single person that goes in and out of the gun store, and a million other things that we're not thinking about right now.
They don't need to force you to register your firearms.
No, you're registered.
They'll just watch you buy ammunition.
There you are.
And guns, and they'll know what type of gun and everything you got.
Okay, we got to go. We got to get the votes in. Let's get out of here. Let's see what they are. Number 1 is that Lady Hong on Thanksgiving. Lady Hong. Number 2, the Mamdani grocery cartel. Number 3, the $20 burrito, mostly Dan Crenshaw. Number 4, self-checkout discount in New York, I believe. Number 5, Warren on fire trucks. Number 6, the damn commies, or the commie block, that I didn't get through all of them. Number 7, only Abdul, complaining about the algorithm. Number 8, proxy voting for children. That was ridiculous argument. Number 9, the flock press. Don't worry about it. They're not interested in you, but they are going to store your license plate and everything that you ever did. No. So, but they're not interested.
Your height, your weight, your gait.
If anyone ever becomes interested in you because they've decided that something you've said or something you've purchased is no longer in favor with them, then don't worry. They are going to help out that person, because even if they weren't interested, they stored it.
All right, y'all, get your votes in. While you're voting, I need to tell you about the sponsors that support this show. So go to the links in the show notes to support those guys. If you're on YouTube, do what Nate said. Like, comment, share, subscribe. We appreciate you there. If you want to spend a little bit of money monthly to be part of the Fed Haters Club and get all kinds of perks like our pre-show that we spend at least 15 minutes doing every single day, you get inside news. You also get discounts on merchandise if you're looking to buy some sweet new shirts that were painstakingly designed by Nate Thurston himself.
We haven't had any new shirts for a while because I was taking all of those design classes. It's been taking up a lot of time lately. And so I finally got through those, figured out how to use Illustrator and all of that. And
really just been working on your English. And
yes. Yeah. That.
You're able to type better now.
Yes. That too.
And so anyway, you could do, if you're not part of the Fed Haters Club, you can still go there, godhatesfeds.com to pick up some merch. But if you are part of the Fed Haters Club, you get a discount. Right now, it's 35% off. That's ridiculous. So it's cheaper to sign up for the Fed Haters Club and then order merch.
Best way to join the Fed Haters Club. Dang, that's true.
Yeah.
For a month at least.
Technically.
Yeah. You'll still save money if you join the Fed Haters Club and then you buy a shirt afterwards.
And then cancel your membership.
And then cancel. Yeah. You'll still save money even after doing that. The best way to get in the Fed Haters Club is to go to YouTube and join on there. Because on YouTube, on the OG YouTube, it's going to be fun to explain these two things. On the OG YouTube, you're going to get the pre-show, the post-show, all the live videos. They're all there stored. You can watch all that. Some members-only videos that get put on there as well. And it gets you access to the Discord channel when you join that. So that's the best way to do it. And there's a link to our OG YouTube in the show notes for sure.
All right, Thanksgiving Hong, one dumb bleep of the week.
Thanksgiving Hong. Why didn't I think of that?
Thanksgiving Hong, one dumb bleep of the week. All right, until next time, we hope you all have a good weekend. We'll see you on Monday. Until then, be safe, be good, and have a good morning, Liberty.